The president and first lady are once again calling for ABC to fire Jimmy Kimmel. It's over a joke he made referring to Melania Trump as, quote, an expectant widow.
The joke aired 2 days before the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. KTLA's Jillian Smuckler is live in Hollywood with more details. Jillian, good morning.
Good morning. Backlash is growing this morning after that joke by Jimmy Kimmel. That sparked outrage by both the president and the first lady, and also renewed calls for Kimmel to be fired. Now, all of this stems from that joke, which was made last week. The controversy started on Jimmy Kimmel Live during a mock version of the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Now, Kimmel, imagining himself as host, made a remark about Melania Trump, joking that she had the glow of a, quote, expectant widow.
Late night host Jimmy Kimmel is at it again. And this time, he's taking direct aim at Donald Trump and the First Lady. In a recent skit, just days before the third assassination attempt on the president, Kimmel made a joke suggesting the First Lady had the glow of an expecting widow. Yeah, you heard that right. And as you can imagine, that didn't sit well with a lot of people. The reaction? Immediate backlash from both inside political circles and across the MAGA movement. Critics are calling the joke reckless, poorly timed, and completely out of line, especially given the serious nature of recent events. Now, if this feels familiar, that's because it is. You might remember Kimmel previously faced major consequences following controversial remarks relating to the Kirk assassination. That situation led to a suspension that many thought would be a wake-up call. But clearly, that lesson didn't stick in his TDS head. Because not only did Kimmel make that stupid joke, he doubled down on it during another show shortly after. And now the pressure is building. Calls are coming in from political leaders, supporters, and commentators demanding that Kimmel be held accountable once again, with some even pushing for him to be outright fired. So what exactly did he say? Why is this moment hitting differently? And how does it compare to the fallout from 7 months ago? We're breaking it all down. Let's take a closer look at the clip, the reaction, and the bigger picture behind the controversy. Because there's a lot to unpack here. And it starts right now. Here we go.
Now, Kimmel, imagining himself as host, made a remark about Melania Trump, joking that she had the glow of a, quote, expectant widow. Take a listen.
Our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow. You know, Melania's birthday is on Sunday. That's right. She's planning to celebrate at home the same way she always does, looking out a window and whispering, "What have I done?"
At the time, it drew reaction online, but the backlash escalated days later after a real-life scare at the Correspondents' Dinner on Saturday night. A gunman breached a security perimeter at the Washington Hilton while the president and first lady were inside. By Monday, both the president and first lady were publicly condemning the joke. Melania Trump posted on social media, writing, quote, "His monologue about my family isn't comedy. It's corrosive," adding Kimmel shouldn't have the opportunity to enter our homes every evening, end quote. Now, the criticism echoed inside the White House briefing room as well, with Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt calling the joke deranged and questioning how it's allowed on television. But Kimmel is now pushing back. In his monologue last night, he addressed the calls to have him fired, defending the joke and his role as a comedian known for political satire.
I am I'm sorry that you and the president and everyone in that room on Saturday went through that. I really am. Just because no one got killed doesn't mean it wasn't traumatic and scary. And we should come together and be best. We really should. But if you want us to believe that a joke I made 3 days before this dinner had any effect on anything that happened, well, then maybe someone should look into this psychic lady, too.
This speech tonight will be classic Donald J. Trump. It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room.
So get this. On this next clip, Jimmy Kimmel didn't apologize like he did back in September. Nope, not this time. Instead, he doubled down. And if that wasn't enough, he actually repeated the same comment. The one that has the Trumps fired up. At that point, you got to ask, is this comedy or is it just pouring gas on a fire? Because he knew exactly what he was doing. And yet, he went right back at it. Watch this.
U.S. President Donald Trump is calling for late-night host Jimmy Kimmel to be fired after saying Melania Trump had a glow like an expectant widow days before this weekend's shooting incident. In a social media post, Trump says he's grateful that so many people are incensed by what he calls Kimmel's despicable call to violence. He adds that Kimmel should be immediately fired by Disney and ABC.
Much of the manifesto of the would-be assassin is indistinguishable from the words that we hear daily from so many. For example, as the First Lady of the United States pointed out this morning, just 2 days prior to the shooting, ABC's late-night host Jimmy Kimmel disgustingly called First Lady Melania Trump an expectant widow. Who in their right minds says a wife would be glowing over the potential murder of her beloved husband? And having experienced what I did with the First Lady on Saturday night, I can tell you that she was anything but that. This kind of rhetoric about the president, the First Lady, and his supporters is completely deranged, and it's unbelievable that the American people are consuming it night after night after night.
Melania Trump saying I should be fired because of a joke I made, again, 5 nights ago. It was a pretend roast. I said, our First Lady Melania is here. Look at her, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow, which obviously was a joke about their age difference and the look of joy we see on her face every time they're together. It was a very light roast joke about the fact that he's almost 80 and she's younger than I am. It was not by any stretch of the definition a call to assassination, and they know that. I've been very vocal for many years speaking out against gun violence in particular, but I understand that the First Lady had a stressful experience over the weekend, and probably every weekend is pretty stressful in that house. And also, I agree that hateful and violent rhetoric is something we should reject. I do, and I think a great place to start to dial that back would be to have a conversation with your husband.
Back in September last year, old Jimmy Boy sparked a major controversy after making remarks about the accused assassin of the late Charlie Kirk. During his show, Jimmy claimed the suspect was a Trump supporter. A statement that quickly ignited backlash across the country. The response was immediate and intense. President Trump publicly condemned these remarks. Charlie's widow, Erica, spoke out, and many others joined in, calling the comments reckless and inappropriate. But ultimately, ABC made the decision to suspend Jimmy indefinitely. Take a look.
This morning, Jimmy Kimmel off the air. The host seen leaving his studio last night after ABC announced it's suspending his long-running late-night show indefinitely. During his monologue Monday night, Kimmel made comments about the shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, accusing Republicans of reaching new lows in response to the 22-year-old alleged killer, who authorities say had a leftist ideology.
The MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
The comments sparked outrage among many conservatives, including Brendan Carr, the chairman of the FCC, which oversees broadcast licensing for local stations. Soon after, Nexstar, one of the largest television station groups in the country and currently seeking FCC approval for a merger, announced it would stop airing Kimmel on all of its ABC-affiliated stations. Within hours, ABC suspended Kimmel's show. Carr praising the move later in the evening.
I'm very glad to see that America's broadcasters are standing up to serve the interests of their community.
And on Truth Social, President Trump congratulating ABC for, quote, finally having the courage to do what had to be done.
All started pouring in for old Jimbo to apologize for his remarks. At first, he flat out refused, acting like he had nothing to answer for. But then reality started to set in. The pressure kept building. The backlash kept growing. And suddenly, the possibility of losing his spot at ABC didn't seem so far-fetched. That's when the tone changed. Old Jim came back with what many are calling a heartfelt apology. But to a lot of people, it felt like damage control. An apology to save his late-night gig, not necessarily to own up to what he said. Take a look.
I've been hearing a lot about what I need to say and do tonight, and the truth is, I don't think what I have to say is going to make much of a difference. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I have no illusions about changing anyone's mind. But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human, and that is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it, and I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual. That was really the opposite of the point I was trying to make, but I understand that to some that felt either ill-timed or unclear, or maybe both. And for those who think I did point a finger, I get why you're upset. If the situation was reversed, there's a good chance I'd have felt the same way. A moment over the weekend, a very beautiful moment. I don't know if you saw this on Sunday. Erica Kirk forgave the man who shot her husband. She forgave him. That is an example we should follow. If you believe in the teachings of Jesus, as I do, there it was. That's it. A selfless act of grace, forgiveness from a grieving widow. It touched me deeply. And I hope it touches many. And if there's anything we should take from this tragedy to carry forward, I hope it can be that, and not this.
So where do you stand on the latest controversy involving old Jimmy boy and the Trumps? Do you think Kimmel should be fired this time? Or do you think the Trumps should just leave it alone because it's not a big deal? Drop your thoughts in the comments below so we can get to the bottom of this. And don't forget, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future updates. Now, in our last video, we took a look at what happened Saturday night when a would-be assassin made the biggest mistake of his life. Until next time, take care, and we'll see you on the next one.